Hey guys, Dan Book McNoggin here, and I wanted to share this one with you. This is a newish comic from Image Comics called Lovesick, written and illustrated by Luana Vecchio. And when I gotta say this from the get-go, that sometimes, more often than not, I will pick up a new graphic novel, a new comic series, without really reading what it is about. I saw this one, I saw the cover, I saw the title, and I was like, that sounded interesting to me. And I'm going to kind of have to say, I'm not going to recommend this one. And I want to tell you why I don't recommend this one. If you're familiar with the horror community, then of course you're probably familiar with the Dead Inside book. I think his name, I can't remember the author who wrote that one. I personally did not read Dead Inside, but it was trending enough in the indie horror community that I was aware of it. I saw a couple of reviews about it, so I knew that it was involving cannibalism and very disturbing subject matter. So, like I said, I blindly went into reading this comic. Totally did not expect it to have anything to do with cannibalism. Let me tell you what it says on the back. It says that this is a rated M for mature horror erotica. So I knew that I requested this because it was a horror comic. Now, I didn't know that it was, I didn't know what I was getting into when, and I got to be careful, because usually I share you guys, I'll flip through these books and I'll show you artwork in the book. But this one I can't really do that because I don't need to get a check on my non-existent monetization of my channel. I really don't want to get a strike on my channel. So we're gonna kind of be careful what I share with you image-wise, but I'm gonna kind of read you the back so you kind of have an idea what it's about. In one of the most lurid corners of the dark web, subscribers pay a high price to be maimed, tortured, and killed by ruthless and irresistible dominatrix Domino. This is what they call love in the Lovesick Club. But as Domino faces emerging threats and mounting pressure from a needy audience, what price will she have to pay for success in this literally cutthroat world, and what will she have to become to survive? Luana Vecchio invites you into a digital underworld of blood and neon to explore the limits of consent, love, and idolatry in one of the most erotic and extreme stories in recent years. I'm going to say, yes, this, hands down, this was a very extreme. I'm going to say, I had to struggle through this to read this. I gave this a 2 out of 5 star rating on Goodreads. I just did not like it. I didn't like it. I'm flat out telling you I do not recommend you going out and reading this. But if you're one of those people, because I know there are those people who base their reading on stuff, they just may want to read some really weird, disturbing stuff. Maybe you really want to read this because it's weird and disturbing. It has a lot of sex. There's like sex in every couple of pages, so that's why I'm like, a lot of nudity. But it is very disturbing because they blatantly talk about cannibalism, like nonchalantly talk about cannibalism. That was very hard for me. I just struggled to read this because I find the whole idea, because like one of the main premises of this book is that they're mostly described as like incels in the book. And they voluntarily give themselves up to this dominatrix named Domino. She basically tortures them, and then she takes their bodies and gives them to her cannibal boyfriend and his friends, and they eat them. And sometimes they are eaten alive. That's what I'm saying. It's very disturbing stuff. That's why I had to struggle. Once I got into this, because like I blindly went into this. Kind of part of me wishes I would have known, what I was getting into before I decided to pick this one up. I just want to show you some of the images. There's a lot of blood, for one. a lot of blood, a lot of nudity. It's out there, like BDSM stuff. But this, I mean, this I've seen BDSM stuff that was tame in comparison to this book. I'm going to tell you that it's extreme, very extreme. I know that the author kind of goes into a lot of stuff. She kind of goes into, I think they're paraphilias, they're fetishes or whatever, that a lot of people don't really talk about, and I guess the real existing conditions that people do have. And yeah, it's all this deep seedy underworld that I one of the things I struggled with while reading this is to think that there may be people like this really out there in the real world. So that's what made this a really hard read for me. Like I said, guys, very disturbing stuff. They call her the mother demon. And this is like stuff like this. I don't know. Like some of the story kind of made sense. It does have a flow. They do go back in time, and they kind of like there's people in fursuits, stuff like that. This like but you know, she kind of tries to take like a serious approach, but then at times it's kind of I don't know, full on. She does have like between the issues, she explains like why she wrote the issue and all that. I didn't really read too in depth on that stuff because, like I said, I was just so disturbed by most of it that, you know, I just tried to push on through it because I wanted to complete it, just so I can give my 2 cents on it, basically. There's like a group of terrorist cell group of incels. They're called blood cells, like in the book. Yeah, but they're really disturbing imagery, and it was a lot to take in. If there is a sequel, a volume 2 written for this, I probably will not even bother with it. I wish I didn't even read this, to be honest with you guys. I found it to be really, really disturbing. Even flipping through the pages right now, trying to show you examples. Yeah. I can't recommend it. I can't say you guys need to go check this out because I feel like, to be honest with you, and the fact that I borrowed this from a public library. I mean, I'm not somebody who believes in censorship, but I believe in free press to some extent. But I believe this is not something that I can't say that I would want anybody to read this. Very disturbing stuff, though, guys. Like I said, I don't recommend anyone go check this out, but if you absolutely must, I am going to throw a link down there. If you absolutely have to go check this out, I will throw a link to Amazon down below. Questions, comments, you know, feel free to ask me something. I tried to share with you the very minimal pictures I could from this. Like I said, it's a lot of very disturbing, not only images and ideas, but yeah, it was a really disturbing story. And to feel like that there might be real people like that think these things, because I do know I read one of the in-between things that explain the issue, and she was saying how she based some of it on true crime cases involving like cannibals in the dark web and people who had made an arrangement to basically a guy who wanted to be eaten and a cannibal that he basically hooked up with on the internet. So yeah, that's really disturbing stuff to think that there are people who like want this, that they desire this kind of stuff, and it's like they look at it and think of it in like a sexual way. It's very disturbing. Definitely not for me. But like I said, if it's something, I feel that's why it just immediately made me think of Dead Inside, and I was like, well, maybe I'll share it with you guys just in case. There are some people who are into that stuff. Maybe you want to see it because you want to see how gross and disturbing it is. Like I said, I'll throw a link down below. I'm also going to throw on my coffee if you want to help support my channel by donating few dollars here or there. If you came here looking for book recommendations and book reviews, then, you know, definitely hit that subscriber button and hit that notification bell. I'm going to end this now. I really cannot say any more about this book. Like I said, I don't recommend going out and reading this. I wish I could unread it. But, you know, it's one of those books, it's definitely sick and twisted. And that's all I can really say. Thanks for watching, guys. Till next time.